Mailbag time here on the Cleveland Browns Report, answering questions filmed during our live show Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Gator, what's going on? What do you think about swapping Greg Newsome for Marshon Lattimore? Interesting thought. There has been some trade buzz surrounding Marshon Lattimore potentially getting moved. And then there was a lot of discussion about Greg Newsome getting dealt, although I never thought that had much legs to it. Surface level, I'm kind of interested because I'm not going to argue that Greg Newsome is better than Marshon Lattimore. But of course, this would come at a price of how many draft picks going back to New Orleans, because there's no way New Orleans does this player for player swap without getting some level of a day 2 draft pick in return. Now, Newsome last year, I think, had the best year of his NFL career. And I know that the Texans game left a sour taste in everyone's mouth, and everyone is dying to move on from Greg Newsome. But I'm not. I think Greg Newsome is a starting caliber cornerback in this league, and I was very happy the Browns picked up his 5th-year option. Gives you starting caliber cornerback play for, 5 years of his beginning career, and put together with Denzel Ward and Martin Emerson for, 4 out of those 5 years? So I'm very content with keeping Greg Newsome. But if Marshon Lattimore was truly available and the Browns could swap a corner for a corner and maybe kick a 3rd-round pick to the Saints, yeah, I'd probably take them up on that offer. For the Browns, they get a surefire thing in Marshon Lattimore. A Buckeye comes back to the Buckeye State. And for the Saints, maybe they get a draft pick and they get to go a little bit younger at the cornerback position. So it could be a little bit of a win-win for both sides. I think the Browns would probably win this trade a little bit more than the Saints. Marshon Lattimore is still playing at a high level. So I would do it, and it's nothing against Greg Newsome. I just think Marshon Lattimore is a better player. No disrespect. And if Greg Newsome continues to play the way he's playing, I think the Browns would be happy to keep him as well. All right, Joshua Miller, next one up on the show. Hot take. Rodney McLoud gets cut with how the young safeties played last year. That is a hot take, hot-ish. I didn't see the need to re-sign Rodney McLeod. I felt like DeAnthony Bell and Ronnie Hickman showed us last year that they are very capable backups and borderline starters in this league. So the Browns have a big role for the safety room. I think they're going to have a lot of 3 safety looks, so they want some depth at those positions. But safety is not a spot that you rotate guys in and out of, right? Usually your safety, as long as you don't get injured at all, plays every single defensive snap in the entire season, like Grant Delpit did 2 years ago. So I could see a world where Rodney McLeod gets pushed out by some younger guys, but I think the Browns bringing back Rodney McLeod shows us that they've got a big role for him on this team as a leader, and they're not going to let a younger guy replace him. Josh, what's going on, dude? Josh, different Josh. 5th for Kittle. Oh, 5th-round pick for... No, stop it. George Kittle was a 5th-round pick himself, so, no. I think George Kittle, if the 49ers truly were forced to trade him, would go for a 1st round. Maybe a 2nd or 1st round. Late 1st, early 2nd, and then another day 3 pick in return. So you're not getting George Kittle for anywhere near a 5th-round pick. Sorry, dude. Lil Beam, Petey, I don't think the Browns have good depth behind David Njoku, and I'm not sold on Devin Bush. And that is why I think the Browns should sign Logan Thomas and Bud Dupree to cheap 1-year deals. Let's start with David Njoku in the tight end room, and then we'll get to Logan Thomas, or then we're going to get to Bud Dupree and the edge rushers. I'm not against this idea that Lil Beam proposes here of adding some extra depth behind David Njoku. The Chief has not been an injury-plagued player throughout his career. Outside of that, 2018 season with the wrist injury, 2019, he has been relatively healthy for much of his career. But still, I too share your concerns about the lack of depth behind Njoku. And I just want to take this moment to remind you guys that this is a great spot for Browns fans to be in. To be complaining about depth at the tight end position. Where in previous years they were complaining, and rightfully so, about just getting good quarterback play from the starter. So the fact that Browns fans have graduated to bitching about backups is a very good place to be in. Trust me. As for Bud Dupree, had 6.5 sacks last year, if I remember correctly, for the Atlanta Falcons. I don't hate the idea. I'm not quite sure what the fit would be with him in a 4-3 defense. He's always been in a 3-4 defense from Pittsburgh to Tennessee to Atlanta. So I'm not quite sure how effective he would be in a 4-3 defense where he's got a lot more coverage responsibilities like Devin Bush will. But I wouldn't be surprised if Andrew Berry wants to add another pass rusher. He did that last year with Zadarius Smith. I don't think it's likely, though. I think Logan Thomas has a much better chance of being signed than Bud Dupree. Cool guy. They need to hurry up with the schedule. I'm excited to see who the Browns face in the 2024 season. Should I try and just raw dog the Browns schedule right now on air? This is not going to make for good radio, but screw it. Let's do it. Browns home and away opponents for 2024. Okay. I think the Browns are going to be home to begin this. I can't do the whole season. Home to begin the season. I don't think they'll do another divisional game because they did that last year. So, non-home divisional matchups. You've got the Chargers, Chiefs, Cowboys, Giants, Dolphins. Rule out the Chiefs. They're going to be home themselves week 1. That leaves Chargers, Cowboys. They're not sending Dallas to Cleveland week 1. Dallas always plays at home or at New York week 1. So rule out the Cowboys. So you got the Chargers, Giants, Dolphins. I kind of feel like Giants. That seems like that's a weird week 1 matchup. You always get some weird week 1 matchups. I like the Giants for some reason week 1. That's my prediction. All right, before we get to the rest of the questions on today's mailbag, Jerry Jeudy jerseys are available at Fanatics. If you want to go get one right now at chatsports.com/Jeudy jersey. I'm the king of what I call second jersey, guys. Everyone's going to have the mainstream quarterback, star defensive player jersey for any team, Myles Garrett, Deshaun Watson, and you can't really gauge someone's level of fandom if they have a super vanilla jersey. If I see someone wearing a Jerry Jeudy jersey, I'm going to give that guy a lot of street credit because I know that's a diehard fan that's not going for a basic cookie-cutter jersey. So if you're a diehard Browns fan and you want to get a more than just a basic jersey like Joshua Miller, guy's got a Cade York and a Martin Emerson jersey, go to chatsports.com/Jeudy jersey. I put that link in the comments and description of today's video. Jeremy Stallman. Hey, anyone flying Southwest Airlines next couple of months? If so, if you see me, please say hello. Jeremy Stallman is our best friend up in the sky. So if Jeremy is working with you on a Southwest flight, you are in good hands. Joshua Miller, next one up. Amari Cooper. Oh, no. Here we go. Amari Cooper for DK Metcalf. Don't want to move on from Cooper, but just throwing that trade idea out there. All right. I don't hate the idea. I don't hate you tossing out an idea. I don't love the idea, though. I think Amari Cooper is here to stay for 2024, and I think beyond too. I think Andrew Berry was very selective with his word choice at the NFL owners meeting when he hinted at an Amari Cooper contract extension. When Berry has a track record of never talking about players' contracts, he did that with Cooper. I think the draft is over now, and he's going to prioritize an Amari Cooper contract extension. So it's a fun idea. Don't get me wrong, Josh. I'd rather have Amari Cooper than DK Metcalf for 2024 and 2025. Christopher Stofira, how crazy is it that Cleveland is predicted as last in the division this coming season? Somewhat related to Christopher's question here. Does anyone else have some decent level of concern for Joe Burrow specifically and his injury? Deshaun Watson's not coming back from a, walk in the breeze shoulder injury. But Joe Burrow is coming back from a serious wrist injury that, similar to Watson, there's not a lot of precedent for quarterbacks suffering that injury. But Watson's rehab seems to be going a lot faster than Burrow's rehab is. And Burrow always seems to start off the year dealing with some nagging injury. And I have seen that, catch them in the derriere. So I think the Bengals are looking at another bottom placement. I think the Steelers get last. I think it goes Ravens, Browns, Bengals, Steelers. That's my prediction for the AFC North. Joshua Miller, how many spots are truly up for grabs after signings, extensions, the draft, etc.? Josh, do you mean spots, starting spots? Help me out for a moment here, Josh. Starting spots after the draft? I think if we're looking at starting spots for week 1, Devin Bush at linebacker, Jerome Ford at running back. those are the only like starting spots I think that are up for grabs, really. As long as that's what you mean, Josh. I mean, you can look at the top remaining free agents here. Again, any spots? Any spots on the 53-man roster. Okay. I mean, here are the top remaining free agent targets and then some of the top trade target candidates as well. Again, we're filming this on Tuesday, so maybe a name or two from either one of those lists is no longer available. But remaining spots, I would say of the 53 guys that make the roster, there's probably only about 5 up for grabs. Like, you can quickly just wipe out 22 starters on offense and defense, and that's almost half of them. And you get to the other half with punter, kicker, long snapper. Now we're at 25. So then everyone's got one primary backup, and those are pretty much set in stone. I would just go off ballpark here. There's like 5 spots where I think at this present moment, Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski could not say with absolute certainty who gets those spots. Josh, appreciate the question, though. Trizzy Trace, let's bring you on screen to pick a card to wrap up the show.
I'm going to roll with the 7 of Hearts.
7 of Hearts?
Yep.
Let's go with the 6 of... No, 6 last time. Give me Jack of Spades. Jack of Spades. What'd you say?
7 of Hearts.
7 of Diamonds!
No!
7 of Diamonds.
Come on!
That is tough scene right there. Cool Guy and Ghostface were the closest to it in our live chat. All right, boys and girls, that will do it for us on our mailbag today. Hope you enjoyed our content. If you did, like the video, subscribe, all that good YouTube cliche stuff, and we'll see you next time.